Welcome back. Now, a year ago, the theories about the dangers of 5G had barely pierced the public's consciousness. However, in recent times, claims about the risk associated with the next generation mobile technology has gone mainstream, with claims linking 5G to the coronavirus pandemic. There's been different theories of the 5G technology, and some of us are in a state of confusion as to the validity of these claims. Now, we have three experts today, but our first guest, Wole Abu, is the Chief Executive Officer of Pan African Towers Limited. Prior to his appointment, he served as the Vice President of Sales at Airtel Nigeria. He's a very experienced leader and a force in the telecom sector. He hopes to bridge the gap in connectivity in Africa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, let me start with the basics. First of all, I've been shouting it that 5G, I'm just confused because you go online, you go on social media, you see so many like fact-backed conversations claiming that 5G is linked to COVID-19. So quickly, maybe we should start with the basics. What is 5G? So just for somebody that doesn't even know what 5G is, what is it?
Okay, so every generation, 5G, the G means generation. So in order to organize telecoms, the bodies, you have a lot of bodies that superintend over telecommunications, the GSMA.
Yeah.
So for example, 1G will describe a certain protocol, a way of doing things. It's just like you have your Toyota car. If you want to use a basic example, if you take a Toyota car, the Corolla has a particular model.
Absolutely.
So it's a model. So you say maybe the 1978 model, so you know what you're talking about. You say 2000 model, you know what you're talking about. If you say you're driving a 2019 model of Corolla, you know it's the same Corolla. So 1G, for example, is voice only. So you recall when telephones, where you could only use them to make a voice call. Exactly. So that protocol is 1G. Then technology became better because it's not just telecoms that has to get better.
Yeah.
Handsets, microprocessors, several things have to get better too. So they had handsets that had keypads that you could type with, and digital technology that could transmit text, and screens that you could now read with. That became 2G. You could now do voice and you could now do text.
Okay.
Then things got better. People like BlackBerry came. You remember BlackBerry?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
First
smartphone. Exactly. So they came, had larger screen, had some more intelligence, had some software around it, and you could actually take pictures and send it. And so pictures came. If you recall, they couldn't do videos,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? Then it went to 3.5, went to 4. Now with 4G, you can do streaming. You have a WhatsApp video, you can talk to someone immediately. So now with that, basically it's about the speed of data. Everything that you transmit really over radio wave is data. Voice is digitized. The picture becomes a bit, you're just sending information in digital format that's decoded at the other end. So we've now reached 5G. What is 5G? Basically, as things have gotten better, supercomputing has gotten better. You can now have your maybe iPhone X. It's a mini computer. The kind of processing capacity and the camera and code I have, where professional level maybe in the 70s, you needed a whole room. Put that kind of capacity in there. So you can process faster now. So if you have a 5G phone, that's not a 5G phone by the way. So 5G phones will come that can do so much more. You've got things like 3D printing now. You've got biomedicine. So you've got robotics. You've got artificial intelligence, machine to machine. So what's happening is that 5G is a protocol that will allow you connect these machines to be able to do more work. So today, what you do maybe with so much manual intervention, let's say something that you really need precision for, like heart surgery. Heart surgery is manual, but you have machines that have learned everything they can be more precise than human beings. But somebody needs
based
to
on the
code it
yeah.
exactly. So you actually have things like that will now run on communication technology, and you don't need a second delay because it can lead to loss of life.
Absolutely.
So those are the kind of use cases for 5G. You can actually have someone, put a robot in Lagos to perform an operation, and he's sitting in New York and saying, okay, start this process, start this, and it will happen. So it is about communication, it's about speed. So it's about 1,000 times more speed. That means it has more capacity. That's why they call it gigahertz capacity. So I heard you mention about the speed with which you download a film. So what you have is that you had a pipe where, like your straw now, where you had just one, maybe just 0.5 millimeters diameter. Now you have, the storm drain. Of course,
2 seconds.
So you can. So once you put on the tap, you can fill your tank in
2 seconds.
So it's just about capacity. So it is that I think in trying to sell it, to say it's such a great idea, people have now scared people like, wow, if it is so fast, so great, it must be like a bullet, then you must hurt me.
Exactly.
And
this brings me to the next question. Obviously, I mean, you said all these amazing things that we should anticipate for 5G, and it's all looking good and looking fantastic for the tech world particularly. But is it harmful? There are so many theories out there, starting with, I was reading somewhere that even high tension poles can cause barrenness in women, and then 4G gave a rise to cases of cancer in the world. So now this 5G radio magnetic radiation is going to increase radiation, which is not good for the human body. So are there health hazards that comes with 5G network?
Before I answer that question, I will tell you that how old is 5G? Where has it been deployed? It's barely a year old. So when you say does something have a health hazard, I would say 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. It's like having a family, and 5G is the latest child. You say, is this child going to turn out to be a killer? So I can tell you that he's still a baby. The father was a pastor, the mother was a lawyer, the first child is a doctor. There's no evidence that shows that this fellow is coming from a family that's going to kill. That's to put it in kind of illustrated.
So you're saying the world doesn't know the effect of 5G?
You can't tell, because you have to have a longitudinal study over time. You can only say, so it's a hypothesis that what could it cause? And in science, you're always open to, could it cause something? But you have to have a basis. So we step back and say, what will make it cause something at all? It has to be the energy. It has to have the force to hurt you. So the question is that, does 5G have the power to hurt humans? No, because you now go back to what is called the electromagnetic spectrum.
Okay.
That is where all waves, everything called a wave, anything is in the world, it has been mapped, it's not new. The electromagnetic spectrum starts from the low frequency to the very high end of it. So radio waves are the low end, before visible light, before sunlight. Your sunlight is actually yes, it's also radiation, and it's more powerful than radio waves.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So first, from a physical point, because that's physics, universal point. If you say something is going to fall, if I drop this glass, it's going to fall.
Definitely
it's not going to float. So if you say, suppose it floats, I won't say you're stupid. I will say, okay,
maybe there's science behind
what will make it float? There are conditions under which it will float. That's zero gravity. Mm-hmm. But today, with what we know, radio waves are non-ionizing. So the first thing you look out for is as a wave, what its characteristics? At what speed does it travel? What power does it have? How is it going to affect a human? It must be absorbed by your skin. It must go through you before it damages something inside of you.
Okay, we're going to continue the conversation, but we have Gbenga Adebayo. He's joined us via Skype. He is the current chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria and Industry Association for all telecom operators in Nigeria. Gbenga, are you there?
Yes, good evening, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us this evening. So have you been listening to our conversation?
Yes, I've been following the instructive explanations provided by my friend and brother Wale in the studio.
Awesome. So what is your take about the 5G theory, and why do we have so much conspiracy around the 5G? Bearing in mind that, according to what we read, because I have not been to Wuhan, but what we read was that the first blanketed 5G network was completed in Wuhan, and that's why people are linking this 5G to the coronavirus. But what's your take on that?
There is no relationship between 5G and coronavirus. And there's no relationship between electromagnetic transmission and virus transmission. Telecommunications goes by electromagnetic waves. Coronavirus, from what we have been told, goes from human to human. And so telecom does not carry virus and cannot transmit virus. But I think the unfortunate thing at this time is that because the world is under this fear of epidemic of coronavirus, they haven't been able to give us any reasons for it, and everyone is looking for anything to hang it on. And the nearest they can is that infrastructure that is closer to all of us, which is telecommunication. So there is no relationship whatsoever between them. And just further to the explanation provided by my friend and brother in the studio, the speed of transmission is just the difference between the current generation of 4G and the next generation of 5G that we have. As he has explained, we had 1G, 2G, 2.5G, 3G. Now we are running partly between 3G and 4G. And 5G is just the next generation after that. If none of the preceding generations were harmful, there's no reason why the next generation will be harmful. So, and the other side of it is that those who are supposed to bring messages of hope, they are bringing message of fear. And that's why we have what we have. The Wuhan is the first city in China where they said 5G is tested, but also there are other cities in China that does have 5G, that doesn't have the kind of impact of coronavirus that like they had in Wuhan. There are also countries of the world today that are suffering from the impact of coronavirus that do not have 5G. So we can't relate them in any way, and the public should just be aware that this is just a fear-mongering. They are baseless. And science is not fiction. Fiction is not science. So if once it's not backed up by any empirical evidence, we cannot say that it's harmful, and we cannot have those conclusive studies. As we have been told, telecommunications is in the non-ionizing band, and the kind of radiation you get from telecom service is not far from what you get from a domestic TV appliance at home, not far from what you get from your electric bulb, not far from what you get from your microwave at home. Even microwave are even regarded to be a lot more harmful than telecommunication signals. So the signals from telecom service are as friendly as they can be. And because of the international regulations that we have, we are all guided by the protocols of International Telecommunications Union. And all of these are backed up by a lot of studies and extensive studies as to the friendly nature of telecom service to humans. So Nigeria is not an exception. We are signatories to these protocols. We comply by all their standards and regulations. And there is no reason why the sort of 5G in Nigeria should be considered as the spread of the coronavirus epidemic. Now, the COVID-19, the coronavirus, it's a plague, it's a virus, and people should run away from it. People who are taken to isolation, they have not been taken to resort centers. They've been taken to places where they are quarantined and kept away from society because of the harmful nature of the disease that they carry. Telecom doesn't transmit the disease at all.
Okay, so we have 5G currently in operation in Nigeria.
we've concluded field trials. Our field trials were done sometime last year in Abuja and in Lagos. And now the experts are they're compiling a report which will be sent to government. Based on the outcome of their recommendations, government will decide on when to proceed. But to speak today, we do not have any 5G coverage in Nigeria. There are no sites that are running on 5G as we speak.
Right. Is it possible, now there is a popular religious leader have put it out there that the federal government put Lagos and Abuja and Ogun State on lockdown because they're trying to install 5G. Would you say this is true?
I'm sorry, this is not true. It's not 5G is not a service that will arrive overnight by night bus. But there are certain processes that will be followed. There are procedures to be followed before you can have new deployment. And what we have done last year is to do field trial, which is normal in any introduction of any new service before a commercial launch is done. And the outcome of the trial will be studied. Recommendation will be made to government. So there is no relationship between the lockdown that we have and 5G, because 5G is not a service that will arrive overnight by night bus. There is a process that will be followed. There will be new hardware to be deployed. There will be new transmission infrastructure in some cases to be built. And there are certainly some steps to be taken. And even when they are deployed, when it's fully deployed, the NCC, our regulator, needs to do what we call site approval before sites are commissioned for commercial use. And those approval guidelines are laid out in a way that is conform with international best standard, as friendly as should be to our environment and to humans.
Right, so I was watching a video on social media, and I mean, someone was breaking down 5G and the coronavirus, and he says every pandemic in the last 150 years, right? For every pandemic in the last 150 years, there was a quantum leap in the electrification of the earth, and that caused an introduction to the radio waves and all of that. For goodness sake, when we watch all of these things, it looks like the facts are just adding up, and it keeps me in a state of who to believe, right? So we can't just rule out the fact that it was the introduction of all of these things that has brought about certain kinds of sicknesses that we never used to have before as humans. So what do you say to these kinds of theories or explanations that they try to give to us?
And also, sorry to add to that question, one of it said that virus are excretion of toxic cells in the body, and these toxic cells are birthed by radiation. When
do we still have going on with us? If not, maybe
they are looking for what to say. They are looking for what to say, and they are looking for where to hang this issue of coronavirus. Unfortunately, they brought it to the wrong place. Now, it's normal that human activity impact on the environment. That's general. I've heard your introduction today saying that driving through Third Mainland Bridge, the ocean was as blue as it has never been. That's also to show you that human activity does have impact on our ecosystem. But it's not telecommunications that affect our lives. Telecom has come to change the way we do things and the way we live. And so telecom services has come to be one of those features that has created modernity. One of those features that has brought modern life, modern comfort, and one of the features that has connected the world together. So in an attempt to make the issue look nice, they will bring up theories of why it happened before, how it happened before. But all of these are not backed by any empirical evidence. And again, like I said earlier, science is not fiction, and fiction is not science. Once you can't back it up by any empirical evidence and or results of empirical studies, it's baseless. So these are just hearsay, and they attempt to put fear in people. They attempt to make people look like something has come to change your way of life. And more importantly, it's an attempt to divert our attention from the problem that we face. Our common enemy today in the world is coronavirus. It's not the communication service. And we almost join hands with government to fight this common enemy that we face.
All right, so on a lighter note, are you on the 4G network right now, or the 5G network? Because your communication with us is quite clear and crisp.
I'm on the 4G network. I'm on the 4G.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, so I think we'll take a quick break, because now with you, I have one question. Because you kept talking about a doctor will be in the US and will be controlling surgery. Are you trying to take our jobs away from us? All right, so we'll take that conversation after the break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.